Can Ridgeview still be the powerhouse that it was without Coach Staley? And how did that make you feel coming in? And what was the pressure that you felt intrinsically?
That was the one time, and this is me opening up. I don't really tell this story. Anything worth having is worth fighting for.
Yeah.
It's worth working for.
Come
so
on.
You really, and as a man of faith, I really believe God tests to see how bad you really want it.
Facts.
I believe He really wants to show, like, because if I give you this, what are you going to do with this tool?
I felt this one deep in my soul, deep beneath the surface, serpent peeking through some holes. Shot me with a gram of dopamine to make me slow. What type you ask?
Well, what up, family? It is your boy, Duane Kyles, and I am here with a very special guest, the leader of leaders, the molder of boys and men, the coach who knows how to coach above and beyond. None other than the legendary man himself, Joshua Staley. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I appreciate that introduction. You know what they say, the introduction is always better than the actual product, so that's good. I appreciate that.
I really don't think, and he's a humble man too. I really don't think it's fair for you to say that because of all the individuals, young boys that I've talked to about their experiences with you and how you've helped them grow and mature, not only on the basketball court, but from a boy to a man. You know what I'm saying? Like the product of your mentorship doesn't lie. You know what I'm saying? There's facts in how you've been able to lead. But man, first things first, I want to discuss and make it very timely for those that tuned in for this very reason. The transition from AC Florida to Ridgeview and the looming doubt and the question that was posed to the community. Can Ridgeview still be the powerhouse that it was without Coach Stoneman? And how did that make you feel coming in? And what was the pressure that you felt intrinsically?
Man, so the transition from AC Florida to Ridgeview, I guess the only change was, the basketball scene, the job. The people at Forest Acres, the AC Florida community, we're still connected. We still love on each other. Still, we'll go out to lunch, still get invited to lunch. So that was probably the biggest transition leaving that community. But we're so still connected and so in touch, it doesn't really feel like I left.
Yeah.
The biggest thing was learning the day-to-day process of a totally different school in a totally different program. To answer your part about the pressure, we kind of talked about this in the pre-warm-up.
Yeah.
Pressure's only for the unprepared. Pressure does not reside in the halls of preparedness. Yeah. So I don't really get caught up into pressure. Now, if I wasn't working, we wasn't putting in the time, we wasn't making the sacrifices, then I would probably feel the pressure. But when you do all you can do to focus on the things you can control, you live with the results. Yeah. And that's what we're dialed in on right now.
For sure. So you're talking about if you are a prepared person, there should be no pressure.
Right.
But then there's then there's the question of when you meet an opponent, right? Or a set of opponents who, on the outside looking in, have prepared more, or maybe not prepared more, but have more to prepare with, more resources, more talent. You know what I'm saying? More basketball acumen. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And you face those individuals, but then you win. Talk to me about what you said to your team, what you said to yourself, what your wife said to you before the game. Paint the picture for us, brother.
Okay, so
before the games.
Before the games.
Because if you want to list off who you've beaten thus far.
I don't have to get into all of that.
Okay, my bad. He's a humble man.
Yeah, you could talk about it, and I'll elaborate if you want me to.
Okay.
But the first part, what I said, what me and my wife talk about is because that's the first person you talk to. When you're going into things like that, is we just talk. She always asks me how I feel. I tell her I feel good. And she asked me how the guys been doing in preparation and practice. I tell them I've been practicing hard. I'm transparent with her.
Yeah.
If we've been practicing well, I tell her we practice well. If not, then she asks me what do you think we need to do to win? And then we'll talk about the breakdown of the other team. As far as the team, if I wanted to make it a short conversation, I'd just tell them to trust their work. right? So like the Malachi Coopers of the world,
Mm-hmm.
the Corey Corbett's, the Yale Davises, the Josh Smiths, all these guys, the Jaden Pretties, all these guys that are taking names now, right? Establishing names for themselves.
Come on.
You gotta trust the work you put in.
Yeah.
And if you don't trust the work you put in, there's no need to work. So there's no disrespect to anyone we play. I think we've played against tremendous programs.
Yeah.
I think we're going to continue to play against tremendous programs. I think the coaches that we're going against are great,
Yeah.
completely uncompared, past, present, and future. But the only thing we can control
Yeah,
is what we put in.
for sure.
And the only thing we can control is how we do it. It's not so much what you do, it's how you do it. I don't know what they're doing across the country in Texas. I don't know what they're doing
Yeah.
across the county in a rival school. So, but what I do know is we can control how we approach every single day here. And when you do that, the beautiful thing about life, the beautiful thing about competition, when you're at your best,
Come on.
you got a chance.
Come on.
You got a chance, and it doesn't matter who you're playing against. When you're at your best, you got a chance. But the doubt seeps in when you feel like you're not prepared. And doubt's a cancer to achievement, and we want to stay away from that. So the youngest work hard, and that's what we talked about. We literally talk about that, trust your work. We're not busting our tails, not sacrificing, not getting to class on time, not working on our demeanor, not working on our mindset, how we respect adults, to doubt ourselves when we get in competition.
Come on.
So that's what we do, and I just tell them that, trust your work, and whatever happens, happens. I'm gonna love up on y'all. We're gonna be proud of y'all no matter what happens after the results, because we're okay with how we went into it. That's what we live with. Yeah.
So and there's this phrase, we want to die empty. Everything that God has given us inside of us to give, we want to give that. But these are young men, and so I think the parallel of you want to release everything and leave the game empty, and that's what you're alluding to. But I want to go back to the pillow talk. You know what I'm saying? It might not be pillow talk whenever you guys talk, you and your wife. The gift of having somebody to be a mirror that you trust with your whole heart, mind, and soul in your home, your rib. Man, like, just allude to, like, this might go to a long conversation, but I want these individuals that are watching to kind of get some insight into what did you see in her, right? What was the distinguishing quality that said, boom, that's Rib right there, that's my wife. And then how do you maintain that relationship with being a coach, with spending long hours? What are the things you institute to make sure that she knows that she's loved, that she knows that she's valued?
Man, so it's like, to answer that first part, how did I know? It was weird, because when I first, true story, as a grown man, my wife was my first girlfriend, literally. So it was like a one and done, right? That's what we would call it. That was
What
really,
age was this?
I don't want to lie to you, I was 21.
Okay.
Going on 22. And this was my first serious relationship as a grown man. Obviously, you had girlfriends in high school, but
Okay.
you don't know what you're doing.
For sure.
You have friends you talk to in college, but you don't really know what you're doing. But going into that senior year, you graduate, and you're kind of grown, okay, I'm out the house now, it's on you.
Yeah.
So this was the first person I really established a relationship with. I found out she was a God-fearing lady. I found out her parents were God-fearing people. And that kind of opened some doors for some things. And we started dating hard, and she was with me my first year as a head coach. And that's when I knew she was the one. So my first year as a head coach, this is why I tell people stay the course, right? And forget what people say about you. Forget the haters, forget the critics.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm at the point where I don't really even acknowledge them anymore.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's gonna have an opinion, and you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
But she was with me from day one. She was at my first game as a head coach. I played one of my closest friends. I won't call his name because he did it to me. And beat me 85-5. First game out the gate as a head coach.
Yeah.
I was an assistant coach. So if you know my history, you know who I'm talking about. And he walks in, his team walks in, and he says, yo, coach, the kids are like, coach, I heard these boys ain't been working hard for you. We gonna show them. So I was like, yo, but you heard me too. You about to show me too. So it was 85-5, bam. Then we played against the legend Zam Frederick when his son was still in high school, Buck Frederick, who arguably is probably the leading scorer in the state of South Carolina. Some people might get a little disgruntled about that, but I think he is, between him and Raymond and Malaysia Fulwiley and Ivy Lattice, one of those four.
Yeah.
And they put it on me, like 118. It was bad. It was bad. we were getting worked. And then so we were probably about 10, 15 games into the season. It was region time.
Yeah.
My wife had been at every game, literally. Well, she wasn't my wife at the time. And I was holding the ball out the gate. People pick at me, was like, oh, you be holding the ball. We was just running offense out of the gate, and the fans was going nuts.
Yeah.
Like, why are you holding the ball? This is when I knew she had my back. She stands up, and she says to the crowd, y'all want to get beat by 50 or 20? Make your mind up. Everybody in this section shut up. And I was like, yo, that's my youngin' right there.
Yeah.
Because she was with me when it was ugly. She was with me when everybody was like, oh, this guy don't know what he's doing. So I tell a lot of coaches, young coaches, man, they come to me. I'm not one of those guys that, like you say, just want to hold it all in, right? You want to release it. And I tell them, stay the course. Stay the course. Pay your dues. Keep working. Keep grinding, because anything worth having is worth fighting for.
Yeah.
It's worth working for.
Come
so
on.
you really, and as a man of faith, I really believe God tests to see how bad you really want it.
Facts.
I believe he really wants to show, like, because if I give you this, what are you going to do with this tool?
Yeah.
Because we all are like vessels. We're all tools trying to do his work. So what are you really going to do? And I had to really show that I really wanted it. So I made 2 vows, man. I was like, okay, I'm going to stay with this lady because she has my back. And it was bigger than basketball. And that's probably why I stand up so much on the sideline now. Because at one point, we only had like 5 or 6 kids on the team. And we were fighting. I was like, if y'all 5 or 6 going to fight with me, I'm going to stand up. And we're going to take these L's together.
Yeah.
And a lot of those kids I still have relationships with. One of them, God bless, have passed since then. I was fortunate to be able to see him win a state championship when we combined together and became Lake Marion. But yeah, man, that's when I kind of knew she was the one, man. And that's when, so our pillow talk is different. Like, she was a Division I athlete. She played sports, so she understands the importance of practice. Our kids play. She understands that our sons have to go through the real process.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? My oldest son is on varsity now, and he might not play as much as the typical person would desire. They'd be like, oh, he's not playing that much. We might go to another situation. But he understands, like, I gotta grind. Iron sharpens iron. And when my moment comes, you get way more out of that moment because he really endured the process and embraced it. So, yeah, man, the pillow talk at the house is real because she gets it.
Most definitely.
She gets it, so yeah. And that's when I knew she was gonna be the one, man. She has a lot of good characteristics, and I wanted to marry an athlete because I know I wanted my kids to play. so yeah, she's ice cold, man, and she gave that characteristic to all my kids. She ice cold. None of my sons really get rattled in competition, so it works out for them.
For sure. Yeah. And so thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yo, thank you for being an amazing woman, supporting my guy right here.
Yeah.
What do you do to maintain a relationship? Because like I said, it's long hours, you're traveling all the time, you're studying film, you're molding and pouring out, you know what I'm saying? Like you're speaking and teaching and being a mentor to so many individuals. Do you have something left when you go to the crib? And if not, where do you get it from?
Here's my advice, especially people with spouses and or significant others in this thing. This is big now.
Yeah.
Take your butt home. Go home.
Hey, simple as that.
Go home.
Take
Like
your
when it's
butt home.
over, when you done grinded, you don't watch your film. Go home.
Yeah.
That extra energy, that extra time, it needs to go to the house. Don't go kick it with the boys. Don't do this. Let them say, go with your homegirls, go chill a day.
Yeah.
Let them say, go out, now you deserve this. Go home, give them your extra time. Because coaching is one of those rare professions where you're spending a lot of you into other people that don't necessarily come up under the same roof as you. You have to literally love and accept and embrace other people's differences. So when you come home, a lot of times you could be emotionally drained. So you gotta go home. And being in a relationship is a continuous process. You gotta continually work over and over again. You gotta constantly work. You can't think, okay, I've arrived, and have someone that you can tell your truth to. This is how I'm feeling, this is how, and they're not gonna judge you and use that against you. And that's where we are, like today, we talked about it today. She's like, okay, we grinding, but we gotta get back to make sure we going on a date night at least once a month.
Yep.
She said, we gotta get back to make sure your friends, your intimate ones, the ones that's in your dot, not your circle, your dot, you gotta make sure, let's go out with them. Those are the people, you're sharing your most intimate moments with. So let's make sure we get out with them once a month. So you gotta constantly talk about it, and that's what you do, man. Your extra time, you give it to them. And obviously you're gonna have your space amongst each other, that's healthy also. But that extra time you give it to them, you gotta make sure you plan to be together. Because you tend to take it together, especially when you've been I've been with my wife for 20 plus years. So when you've been with your significant other.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How many years?
20 plus, baby. 20 plus, yeah. So
Y'all clap it up in the chat. Clap it up in the chat.
We've seen the valleys, we've seen the ups, but you got to keep working through it, because if you're really going to be with this person, it's constant work. And now we're raising other human beings, right?
How many kids do you guys have?
We got 4, 3 boys, 1 girl. We're done though. We're done. We're done. I'm not having any more. The 4th one wasn't planned. I love you, Austin. I love you, baby girl. But I'm glad she's here. She changed the whole demeanor of the house. But yeah, man. So you got to constantly work and take your butt home.
Yeah.
Take your butt home. Give them that extra time.
Yeah. And you saying take your butt home. Have you seen it? You saying that it's super simple. If they implement it, it would do well for them. But have you seen in the landscape, in the coaching arena, coaches that just don't go home?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because going home is more abstract than it is literal, right? So when I go home, my mind got to be home. When I go home, my emotions got to be home.
Yeah.
My connectivity got to be home. I can't be worrying about this. I can't be worrying about that. She has a rule. If something happens crazy, she say, okay, you got 16 hours to like moan on this. When we wake up in the morning, we on to the next thing. Yeah. And that's what you do. So you got to go home. You can't take a lot of that stuff.
Whoa. You dropping gyms and then you passed in the, you going past the gym. You got to slow down
okay,
with
let me slow down.
So give us the rule.
16-hour rule. So say like if something crazy happens at the job, maybe with sports.
Okay.
You got to grieve about it a little bit, get over it, communicate, talk about it, don't hold it in.
Okay.
Once we wake up in the morning, we got to move past it. Because see, what happens, the trouble occurs when it festers and you hold on to it.
Yeah.
You can't control everything.
Come on.
We pray about it, we let it go.
Yeah.
You look in the mirror.
Yeah.
What could I have done to make this situation different? What could I have done to make it better?
Okay.
And you be honest with yourself and you move on.
All right, before you slide past this gym, which is an incredible gym.
Yes, sir.
What's one of the stories of, the times where you had to institute the 16-hour rule? One of your darkest, most troublesome, maybe mistakes or
I give you
events?
2 sides.
Yeah.
I'll give you 2 sides. I give you an athletic side and I give you a personal side.
Okay.
So like the athletic side, I didn't win my first until I lost 5 state championships in a row before I won 1, right? The average person would be like, maybe this just ain't for me. So I was struggling. I was, and she looked at me. She was like, we do our checklist. Did you give it your all? Yeah. Did you take any days off? No. Did you shaft any kids? No. All right, you got 16 hours. Figure it out. Mope about it.
What is shaft? Shaft any kids?
Like shaft kids, like don't give that kid your best.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Okay. Like you see that kid trying to cut corners. Did you exert the energy to make sure they do it the right way? Because that's another part of the conversation. Like discipline requires a lot of energy.
Come on.
But discipline.
We're gonna come back to that though.
Come back to it, because discipline is one of the highest forms of love.
Yeah.
It is. And the answer is no. Okay, you got 16 hours, bam, get over it. Then you fight through it. We wound up winning the state championship that next year. But you got to get right back to work. Like when I say back to work, like I don't really take that lightly. That's not, like everything I say is something that's intimate to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to prove to myself that, okay, something good happened, get your butt back to work. But the bulk of it came from failure. The bulk of my back to work mindset came from failure. It didn't come from the hands in the air and the celebrations. It came from, okay, valuing failure and the lessons learned from not accomplishing the goal, but embracing the mission. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, you gotta get back to that. On the more intimate side, we've had moments where we lost loved ones. I mean, when my mom passed, we were still fairly young. I felt like I was beating myself up bad, because that was the one time, and this is me opening up. I don't really tell this story. There's only a few people that was the one time I felt I put the job in front of family. Learn, never doing that again.
Yeah.
Never doing that again. And it gets emotional, but that was the one time I put the job in front of family. My mom was sick. She had a heart attack, but she was staying with us. But you know how old school women are. She's independent. She raised me.
Yeah.
I'm going back home. I was like, Mom, nah, Mom, don't worry about going back home. Just stay with us. She wound up, that's your mom, you respect, so I couldn't fight her. And I was right back to the job, working, trying to please everybody, trying to make sure I was going to work. And in the process, she passed. And I was like, damn, I probably should have spent more time. I should have put her first. And my wife, and again, she was like, obviously she didn't give me 16 hours for that. But she was like, we got to get through it. We got to get through it. And that's something you grow from, and then you realize you keep things into perspective. And that's when you realize like what's most important and what comes first. And that's what I learned from, man. And we just went from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for opening up and sharing.
No, man, appreciate it.
That's heavy.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
heavy.
It
That's
is.
heavy. That's heavy. But to go back to the discipline portion of it, and man, when you said discipline is one of the highest forms of love, it is. And what I've seen on multiple occasions from other individuals is a lack of instituting discipline in the means of getting instant success. Mm-hmm. Not caring about that individual's future success. You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but let's make some people uncomfortable, right?
Please.
My generation, right? That 35 and up. Mm-hmm. We're not doing a good job as parents. Because see, this generation was what I don't really get caught up in the names and all that stuff. Now, some of us are doing a tremendous job.
Yeah.
But the bulk of us, as a culture, as a generation, we got to get back to putting the family and our babies first.
Come on.
They need the best version of us every single day.
Come on.
And a part of that, right? A part of that, the biggest part is discipline.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many times I'll see one of my sons do something, and it might not be that big, but I know in my hearts of hearts, in my mind, I can't let him get away with that.
Yep.
So you gotta check him because you love him.
Yep.
Because if you let one small thing get away, then it turns into two, and before you know it, we got a culture of people not being accountable.
Come on.
So you got to teach these kids to be accountable every single day, and discipline is fatiguing.
Yeah.
And you take that into coaching. So if a kid is late for practice or they're not practicing the right way, you got to hold them accountable. And they might not start. They might have to sit out a quarter. They might have to do something extra. But if you really, really love that kid.
Come on.
If you love that kid.
If you love the
If
kid.
you love that kid and you're not just doing it for tally marks on the left and the right side of the scoreboard.
For your
right?
legacy.
For your legacy.
Come on.
You hold them accountable.
Come on.
Now they're going to squirm. They're going to complain.
Mm-hmm. They might leave.
They might leave.
They might leave.
You might get called to the principal's office. Mm-hmm. They might go to the district office on you. But at the end of the day, you gotta hold them babies accountable, because when they become adults, they appreciate you in the long run.
Yeah.
Actually, like James Reese is one of my closest babies, man. I love this dude.
Yeah.
I love you, James. And me and him, he went through that process. I remember, and I'm gonna use James because that's my guy. I remember we was playing a region game, maybe like Richard Northeast, and he had to sit out the first quarter. Now, mind you, he literally won Player of the Year that year, right?
He's cold.
Richard Northeast was solid.
He's so cold.
I think Aaron Lucas was still there, and I'm like, yo, I don't really want to sit this guy out. They're gonna be kicking our butts.
Yeah.
If I sit my best player out. And but on the flip side, I knew I loved him more than I wanted to win. The love was the love was more. So he came to me like, Coach, please don't make me sit out. And I was like, I don't want to, but you got to. He still wound up having a great game.
That's my desire.
Yeah, he still wound up having a great game. We
Yeah.
wound up winning, but the life lesson was long. In order to do what you want to do, you got to do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And he learned that, and now he's a pro. Now he's about to be raising his own child.
Come on.
And that's what I value the most.
Come on.
Like, he invited me to the baby shower, right?
Come on.
The hell with the trophies at the end, right?
Yeah.
The hell with the individual awards. Are we connected enough that when you go through something, Coach, I'm struggling, I need you, we grown. Coach, I'm about to have a baby. He go to baby shower invitation, dog. That means more to me than anything.
Yeah.
Because now I know our connectivity was genuine and it was real. Because you got me. You understood when we say 1, 2, 3 family at the end of the day, 1, 2, 3 life champs at the end of the day, we're not just talking about sports. We're talking about life and everything. So that baby shower, boy, he just don't know. When he sent me that baby shower invitation, boy, I was good.
Yeah.
That baby might not have to buy diapers ever.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For
So
sure.
so that's big, man, and that's where discipline comes in. When you love them, you hold them accountable. Sometimes the parents not gonna understand. The fans, hell, they not gonna understand. Sometimes their teammates. And like you said, sometimes they might pack their bags, I'm out. I don't wanna deal with this. I wanna just hoop, I wanna do it my way. But that's fine, but you gotta have a standard and you gotta stand on your moral code on what you know is right and what's wrong. Let's go from there.
And to speak on moral code, what's the bedrock foundation of who Josh Staley is as a coach and as a person? What's that foundation laid on?
Man, obviously it's laid on my faith.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, that's how I was reared. You know, my mom was a strong church-going person. My Uncle Al, I mean, I was a single parent like you. It's only child. I had a bunch of brothers and sisters by my dad. I love my dad. But, you know, we were very strong church-going people. My mom surrounded me by strong church-going people. So, and then you learn like the simple things that we take for granted, like just treat people how you want to be treated. If something happens and you're wrong, communicate, man. So I think the base of my foundation on both sides, because I don't really make them different, just like love and accountability, man. And that first phase of accountability is I always look in the mirror first. Like, I'm not a finger pointer. Like, if something go wrong, I'm not gonna be like, hey man, nah, okay, what could I have done to make the situation better? And then we'll move on to the next phase of that, man. It's just love and accountability, and try your best to just be truthful, because we so imperfect as humans, right? We're so imperfect, and all you can do is just fight the good fight every single day.
And fighting a good fight, we are men, we are, I would consider good-looking men, you know what I'm saying? Men who desire to stay in shape, are in shape, you know what I'm saying? And so fighting a good fight means, and you talked about the faith, fighting your flesh. And so, and this can get intimate, what are the very helpful things you institute on a day-to-day basis? Because you've been at, you know, multiple schools.
Right.
Multiple programs, teachers, staff, administration, been around a lot of different ethnicities.
Right.
And so I know that it has not always been as easy as it may be now.
Right.
You know, to avoid the temptation of someone desiring to be in a position that's, you know, you and your wife share. How do you navigate that? And if you can tell the story of how you've had to strongly navigate that to stay away, that would be helpful.
Yeah, so like most people want a pure story, but that's not life.
Yes.
Like you make mistakes.
Yeah.
My thing is what works for me is just like conditioning. Like you want to get in shape, you jog every day, right? You want to get your cardio up. So you have to condition yourself on a daily basis to fight the good fight.
Yeah.
You're gonna be tempted, but the temptation is not what gets you. The good Lord gives you a way out every single time.
Go ahead, he gave you a way out.
He gives you
Sometimes
a way
you
out.
don't take it, though.
You have to condition yourself to seek that way out.
For sure.
And he knows you're going to be tempted. He knows the flesh is strong, but you gotta thrive in a world where you're fighting for a way out every single day. And it might not just be, and the enemy only attacks you where you're weak. He knows your strengths, he knows your weaknesses. So you gotta constantly fight and build. You gotta constantly build where you're weak. Strengthen where you're weak, build up where you're torn down, and don't hammer yourself when you mess up.
Yeah.
You're gonna mess up.
Yeah.
Like it's like playing sports, right? You're gonna have a turnover.
Yeah.
You're gonna make a mistake.
For sure.
Learn from your mistake. Again, that's why you have to have a dot. Most people say, oh, my circle gotta be small, but I got a different life. You gotta be a dot. Because everybody within that dot, dots are full, right? It's wholesome. You gotta have people that really have your back. You gotta have people that you can like really reach out to and be like, yo, look, I need to get better. So the prayers are real, the thoughts are real.
Yeah.
Not just really wanting you to fail. And just so the biggest thing is, man, you just gotta condition yourself to fight every day.
For sure.
Every day.
For sure.
Sometimes it's easier because you be like, man, it feels so good. It feels so right.
Yeah.
But that's just the flesh talking, and you just gotta fight through it. And keep the bigger picture in mind. Like, you got kids you wanna raise. You don't wanna let people down. You don't wanna let the team down. So don't put yourself in a situation where you're once you make it bigger than you, it's easier to walk out there. It's easy to walk out that way out door.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
For
okay,
sure.
that's the way out. It's bigger than me. Let me just walk out.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
So we can't get a story though.
Nah, you don't get a story on that. I mean, like, I think I just told you a story.
Hey, y'all, he never did that, Dre. He gave us the principles, but he ain't give us the plot.
I gave you a bunch of stories. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has to fight a good fight.
For sure.
And then you go from there.
For sure.
I just think that's what it is.
Okay.
And don't. I would tell you
press
what.
it too much. Okay.
No, I mean, you press me. I ain't gonna turn it over. But I can tell you one thing, man. Just don't live a judgmental life.
For sure.
Because you're going to make mistakes.
For sure.
And the people that usually fall the hardest are the ones that are most judgmental. You see what I'm saying? Because you're always judging. You're always saying what you would do. You're always, my wife, she hits herself all the time in the head because before we had kids, I would never let my kids eat McDonald's. What? What? And she says that all the time. She's like, man, boy, I was stupid. I was
Yeah.
always saying I wouldn't. I mean, that's why. So you got to live a life of like growth, gratitude, acceptance, forgiveness. Keep it moving. Have your standards. I'm not saying if you want to be in tip-top shape, you go hang with people that eat McDonald's today and people that drink 4 or 5 beers. That's not going to work. You surround yourself with common-minded people, likely-minded people, and just don't like not living a judgmental life helps you get through the day-to-day of fighting the flesh because you're going to make a mistake. And because you know you're human and you can make those mistakes, you can tend to work your way out of it because now you really don't have a lot to be ashamed of. I told y'all from the beginning I wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
And now you could just work your way through it and just try to stay away from pitfalls.
For sure. That's major. That's major. And I appreciate your take, you know what I'm saying, your insight on that. I say for parenting, what is the biggest, because we just talked about parents. We just talked about the need for the 35 and up to be better.
Yeah.
To be better. And you touched on it a little bit before, but what are the things that these parents can do, even from a mentality standpoint, you know what I'm saying, to get better?
All right, so first is time.
Yeah.
Give these babies your time. We have been conditioned. When I say we, I'm even talking about myself because it hit me, it's hit me hard before. It probably hit me harder most with my mom. That's why I learned the phrase. Talon was the only one born. He was an infant. He don't remember my mom. But you gotta give these babies your time. And when you give them your time, you have to be completely honest and transparent with them. They're going to fail. Everything isn't going to work out their way, and they can't get everything they want. It don't work like that. And you got to hold them accountable daily. That doesn't mean you're a drill sergeant and you're getting them out the bed and they got to tuck the sheet, and when you drop a nickel on the bed, it's supposed to pop up. But in the same breath, sometimes things aren't going to work out. Somebody might be better. Sometimes life just isn't fair.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not what happens to you, it's about what happens for you. And when you have a for you instead of a to you mindset, you can navigate life a little bit better. But my generation, we've been conditioned to work, make money, establish our legacy through what we can leave behind. And sometimes we forget the greatest thing we can leave behind is us. You know what I'm saying? The lessons taught, like my mom did. I mean, I remember the night we had nights where we struggled over a pork chop. Who's gonna get it? It was just me and her in the house. You see what I'm saying? I remember the nights where, it was like, hey man, what we gonna do today? So but the lesson she left me behind, be a leader, not a follower. Keep God first. Treat people the way you wanna be treated. Never be jealous. My mom used to, she spent so much time talking to me. Forget the money.
Mine too.
She spent so much time, the car rides, the sit down boys, and all this stuff.
Mine too.
And she spent so much time, and I remember she used to always be like, never be jealous of people. Well, as a little child, I was like jealous. I related that to a jelly sandwich because I'm like, okay, jelly, what jelly got to do with how I treat people? Then she would say it, so I went from 5 to 8 to 10 to 12, and I understood what she was saying, never be jealous. When someone else is successful, celebrate them just as hard as you would celebrate yourself.
Come on. So
I use those things. When these babies are successful on social media, whether you play for me or not, I'm gonna repost you. I'm gonna tell you get back to work. I'm gonna tell you congratulations. And when I see you in public, I'm gonna tell you, yo, you're doing a great job. And that's just in the basketball realm, in the competitive realm, because when we're competing for 32 minutes. I'm not gonna predicate how you feel about me just from a 32-minute game. So it's bigger than that. So she talked to me, and as parents, we got to spend way more time talking to our babies, nurturing them, getting them to understand, because the world ain't gonna stop. The world is coming for these kids. I'm not trying to make this a spiritual thing, but
that's what it is.
our babies are completely under attack.
Come on.
They're grossly under attack.
Come on.
So we got to constantly combat and fight, and don't give up. Don't give up. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Fight. And constantly teach them, yo, you're gonna mess up. Things aren't gonna go your way. But this is what it takes for you to be a strong young man. This is what it takes for you to be a strong young woman. Get up off your knees. Don't blame nobody else, and let's just get back to work.
Come on.
And that's what it takes, man. But time, accountability, and love, that's what these babies need. And when I say we aren't doing a good job as parents, and I'm including myself, because we gotta make sure we're giving them the time, because again, the society we got to keep the lights on, Gotta make sure the car note's paid, insurance is paid. Inflation is freaking nuts right now. So we get caught up in the career so much, we forget the last time we really had 5 days in a row where we sat down and ate with our kids. Not 1 or 2 days, 5 days in a row where we sat down and ate with our kids. And I know some careers, like some people are doing such great jobs and our careers are so demanding. I get it. And you can provide them with anything, materialistic thing they want. But they might want that and they're young, but they don't understand what they need yet. They're not gonna understand what they needed from you until they become adults.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying?
Come on.
So we gotta give them that time and love, man.
Come on, and just to shed light on what you just said about the need to consistently be grinding so that the lights stay on, so that specifically when your infrastructure and the way you get bread is by being committed to a certain, amount of individuals consistently. And so just to shed light on my personal situation, because I've gotten a lot of DMs and messages about, Wayne, where you at? Like, you got married, like you left the basketball scene.
You forgot about us.
You forgot about us. And it's like, nah, I didn't forget about the individuals that need to be put on the pedestal, but it's also what you alluded to about we need to be creating, and I'm at an age where I can create a sustainable lifestyle to where I can have just as much impact, but have those 5 days a week, you know what I'm saying, with the family, you know what I'm saying? And even for you, I think the gems and the life lessons and your ability to articulate yourself in that second or third career, hey, I need everybody in the chat to hold this man accountable. We need a book from you, right? We need a book from you, and I know that's hitting you. I know that's the spirit talk, cause I know we talked about that. So
Yeah,
you know
because
what I'm
my
saying?
wife literally just got on me about that the other day.
Come on, we need a book.
Yeah.
We need more we need more things of this nature. We need more podcasts. You know what I'm saying? We need mentoring in the sense of, maybe some modules. No, we need Joshua Staley, the mind. We need what's in here.
Okay.
Right? Because what you give out, the game you giving out right now, it's paramount. It's big. It's needed. It's necessary, and those kids are benefiting from it. And you're doing a tremendous job. Those kids that you're impacting will impact thousands, millions. But that book, man, we need that. And so I share it out to say that, like, man, what you do here is so important. But that second, third, fourth career, I really want you to
It's
consider.
time, and y'all got my word right here, with Brother Wayne. I'm gonna do better. Get the book. Todd got on me back pretty good with the Lawrence Letterman about doing the podcast. So Todd, I'm with you. My wife got on me. It's crazy when the spirit works. It works. She got on me. She's like, you need to do the books. You need to do a book. So I'm gonna get on that. So Jason, my brother Jason Reynolds, I'm gonna be getting with you for that guidance.
Yeah.
And but it's just, the piggyback, man, I'm a jump conversation a little bit.
Please do.
About, and this is just for parents, and then we can go wherever you want after this. A lot of times we try to protect our kids, and you're supposed to shelter your kids, right? Shelter them. Like some people are like, oh, you can't shelter your kids, because if you can afford a garage, you park your car in the garage to shelter from the elements.
Analogy.
So shelter your kids from the elements. That's okay. That doesn't mean you're pacifying them and babying them. The pacifier comes from when you're not completely honest with your kids. That's when you pacify them. Be like, I don't care what happened. I'm still gonna pacify you and try to get you what you want. That's not real life. Let me break it down. Let me use my oldest son, for example. When I first got the job, it was crazy. I remember one of the questions I got that stuck with me was, are you bringing anyone with you? I said, yeah. A 5'6", 13-year-old coming in piping hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you worried about that kid coming in, that's fine. So it was crazy, right? So when he came, the mission was for him, and I'm gonna tell you, this goes back to not being fair. Get a year B team, get a year JV, you know what I'm saying? Move up, because I know he just wasn't physically there yet. Then kids just started leaving left and right. Leaving. We're not just talking about regular kids, we're talking about starters.
Come on.
Division I college basketball players just leaving. College basketball players just leaving. So he's looking at me, he's kind of like, well, damn, it's gonna kind of throw our plan off. And I was like, well, we just gotta keep working. And so then it turned into an element of when that many people are leaving, who do you turn to? The people you can trust. The only person on the infrastructure, and I knew the Corys, I knew the Yes, because I've known a lot of these kids since babies, right? But at the end of the day, you gotta have somebody that you can trust, and it's no pressure on them because you're trusting them. See, knowing somebody trusts you, that can be pressure at times. But he knew, that's my dad, I love him. So it went from, okay, you're gonna do this, bloop, 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 to like, yo, you're probably gonna have to like ride the bench on varsity for a year or two because it's so many guys out. We got to the point where one guy started out, and he was like, well, I'm gonna focus on my grades, I'm gonna tap out. Probably because his role wasn't what he wanted it to be, which was fine, I still love the kid. And that kid's like, bam, I'm out. So like, well, dang, Tal, if you really look up, everybody's kind of gone. Josh Smith did such, and I love Josh, man. He did such a good job of mentoring Tal. He got him through a lot, but he mentored him, he got him through, and he was like, Tal struggled, because, I want to play.
Yeah.
But dang, I got to sit, and I got to watch. But the outside was like, he's only on varsity because that's the coach's son. Imagine being a 14-year-old, 15-year-old getting battered with that by grown men and adults, taking subliminals, taking shots. And they're like, you only on varsity, not because you bust your tail and work, not because literally when you check the attendance, you miss nothing, or not because literally literally a lineage of older guys that were supposed to be in front of you did what was best for them, and it's fine. And understand, I'm not saying this with any ill intent, any malice.
Yeah, for sure.
They need me. So you were kind of like thrust into that, but people didn't see it from your perspective because they only saw it as, oh, that's your son, so this is why you're doing it.
Yeah.
So it goes back to like, sometimes life ain't fair. You know why you were thrusted into this, but the world is like, you're only getting it because of privilege.
Yeah.
Not because you work, not because you were semi-ready for it, because you put the work in, but because of privilege. So what do? You bust your tail and you keep working. And it got him to the point where he is now. He's a solid player on varsity. Still has some really good guys ahead of him. But I'm gonna give Josh Smith some flowers right now, man. He did a good job of mentoring talent, getting him through it. I heard a lot of the side conversations where it was like, yo, Ty, I had to do that last year. That was my role. I was oxygen for the dude in front of me. And he got him through that. That's why I was really happy for Josh last night and the seniors, Jaden and Zach. Y'all got a Chick-fil-A. Obviously, we got more work to do, but that was that. I'm not gonna let them like downplay it. That's big. Y'all won one of the biggest national tournaments in the country. You remember back in the day, everybody used to talk about the beach ball. Everybody talk about Chick-fil-A now. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So, Josh, man, you did a really good job with Tal. I know I'm gonna see you after this, but don't get the big head. But he did a good job. Josh, so those are some of the things as parents, I could have easily figured out a way to protect him from all that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, because that's not gonna make him a stronger man. This is what it is. This is what they're saying. What do we need to ignore? What do we need to grow from? What do we need to look in the mirror at? And that's what we did. And we kept it moving. Yeah.
Man, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And also sharing the stories about your mother, taking the time to talk to you, because we're men of faith.
Amen.
And in the Bible, it says that faith comes by hearing.
Right.
And I believe those conversations where you are literally infusing your son with love and confidence in the necessity to be resilient and the ability to be resilient by him watching you, by him watching your wife, and by you guys being amazing role models is amazing. So, man, Tal, I love you. I'm proud of you. Brother, thank you for not quitting. Thank you for staying with the course. The men that was hating, y'all some cornballs. Go get your life together. Please go get your life together. Yeah. I think, man, not to say that we're about to end or anything, but one of the last things that I'm really curious about is, the current South Carolina landscape of coaches, right? And how we have a lot of them that we really love, and they do an amazing job, right? Who would you consider right now, and this is where we name drop, who would you consider to be in a top 5, top 10 list of people that you, not only are they great coaches, right? But who's the top 5 people who coach but are also amazing people? Male and female, making it hard for you.
God dang it.
Or do you want to break it up, the male first? And then-
man, that's tough.
That's super
That's one of
tough.
them questions you gotta text me and I
Yeah,
gotta think about it.
I didn't want to text him because I ain't want.
Yeah.
Hey, who you think I should put?
You put me on the spot. So I'm gonna go with I've been blessed. Like I think one of my gifts that I was given was like, I can establish really good relationships with people.
Yeah.
Because what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about you, I'm gonna talk to you. If you do something to offend me. He's retired now. I think Billy Harris did a really, really good job of that.
Okay, so he's gonna go to the retired.
I'm including everybody.
Okay.
I'm including everyone.
Okay. Rightfully so.
Eric Samuel down at Crestwood, he's a really good man. He does a really good job. He looks out for people. Debbie Stroman,
Okay.
she's retired, but what she did and how she connected with people, so much that I learned from her. It was just amazing. Faye Norris, she was like almost like a second mom, really looked out for me, made sure I did things the right way early on. It was crazy. She taught me so much. I don't really think she was paying attention to it. She was just trying to keep me in line. And she did a really good job. And it was weird because I had to coach against Debbie, I had to coach against Faye, I had to coach against Bailey Harris, but I was learning so much from them. And to this day, we have really good relationships. They're mentors. I can call them. I might not call them often, but I can call them or text them whenever I need something. Man, that's 3, right?
It's 3. I mean, we don't have to. Is that 3 or 4?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, well, selfishly for me, because this man helps me out a lot. Alex Barron used to be a head coach at Orangeburg Wilkinson High School.
Okay.
He's retired.
Okay.
Again, it's more of like a mentor thing for me. Like he really looks out for me, and make sure the kids are always good. Whenever I call him, he answers the call. He never really tells me no, and he helps out a lot. And I would have to say, honestly, his cousin Don Staley. Like what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
She low-key kind of jacked me up the other day, not physically, but right before we played our first game in the Chick-fil-A, because I was trying to take the humble route and she wasn't hearing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was one of those trust your work moments.
For sure.
And she's just always been a real good mentor. Like I could text her right now, she never big times me.
For sure.
She never if she's still coaching when baby girl comes through and baby girl is hooping and she's at that level, she's the only coach she's playing for. Or unless Brittany Anderson or somebody has a head coaching job and Don's retired.
For sure.
But so it's just like it's a lot of good people like Brittany Anderson, assistant coach at Illinois, like been knowing her for years, great people. But like those are kind of like some of the people that's like just kept it a buck with me. It's such a long list though. Like I don't want to you put me on the spot, but I don't really want to leave anyone out. But it's so many like great people.
Okay.
That I know that does such a great job at all levels. It's not just like high school, college. It's even at pros that I've had the opportunity. Like Frank Martin is probably one of the better men that I've met. But the camera is like, oh, he's intense. He's on his guys, but you don't really know this dude. Frank Martin is like, he's one of the better men. I've watched this dude. Our kids played travel ball together, and me and Tal hadn't had a room yet, and this man tried to give his room up to me and Tal.
It's crazy.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
crazy.
Hold on, Frank, your wife is literally right here, and your kids are here. And his wife was Ford. She was like, yeah, whatever, give him the room. Like, and I'm like, nah.
So they are generous people as a whole.
Man, I want you to think about this. You know how hard it is to get a hotel room on the spot, on the road? He's like, nah, Josh, y'all can take my room. I'm like, no, Frank, take you and your family in the room. And me and Tal went across the street to La Quinta, whatever it was, but it was nice. But it was like, it's just so many good people that I know. Like Frank was one of my favorites because we were intimately able to get to know each other because our kids played in the same travel ball and it was real. You know, if my sons are good enough to play, they're going, and Frank wants them, they're going to play for Frank. You see what I'm saying? The hell with him holding them accountable and coaching intensity. That's what these babies need. He doesn't I don't believe in degrading kids, and I know he wouldn't do that to my son. So I will put them in that situation. But that's what these kids need. Somebody asked me a while ago, was like, yo, Josh, like you coach, but you old school. But that's what these kids don't need friends.
Yeah. Oh, you opened up another
they don't need friends.
Whole topic.
Yeah, they don't need friends. They don't need homies.
Come on.
They don't need what's up, twin? Nah.
Come on.
We can have a good time now. We could be friendly, I want you to understand, you can come to me with anything.
Yeah.
Like you struggling, you having a bad day, coach, let me sit in the office. Okay,
Yeah.
let's figure out this, then just get our butt back to class.
Sure.
But like, these babies don't need friends. They
Yeah.
need mentors. They need parents. They
Sure.
need adults.
Come
They
on.
need people showing them the right way. And a lot of times that's
on.
not going to be comfortable. 80% of the time it's not gonna be comfortable.
Yeah.
80%. Me telling my sons, yo, get your butts down here and do your chores every day. They got chores every day. That ain't comfortable.
Yeah.
Because heck, it ain't comfortable for me to make you have to do it. So now that I got to tell you to do it, give me these phones at night. Nah, you're not getting that extra $100 for allowance this week. Because where your mom is telling you to do the chores. And it's not, so these babies don't need, especially this generation, they don't need friends. They need real people helping them.
Yeah.
They need, because they're under attack from every angle.
Yeah, for sure. And to talk about the friends thing, I'll just share my piece of the, and I think I'm gonna go all the way to it's demonic how destructive the thought process is for some of these coaches that I've seen to really intake a player as the homie, like as the twin, and like. And really, and the thing that I hate about it the most, and I don't want to get on a soapbox, but the thing that I hate about it the most is that it's not the player that changes the way they act. It's the freaking coach that's changing the way they are becoming. The player is not arriving at another level of maturity. It's the coach degrading their maturity to go down to their level. And I think we have to do better. Like he said, we have to do better because the world is already, and you may be a part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to go too hard, but
No, it's I would say it's tough, right? Because in this profession,
Yeah.
we're predicated off production.
yeah,
It's a production-based profession. But the crazy part of production, how do you have the ability to produce by not skipping the phases that it takes to be successful?
For sure.
You can't skip no phases.
For sure.
And if you start skipping phases, if you start skipping levels, then yeah, you might have some production because of like talent, but then it always collapses.
Yeah.
Because there's no foundation. So you can't skip any step as far as establishing your foundation, even when that means you're not gonna be as successful. You're going to get rid of some people, and when you're getting rid of people, you got to trust that those people don't need to be around you anyway.
For sure.
When people are removed out of your life, you gotta wholeheartedly trust that thing.
For sure.
You got to trust it, and then you just got to keep working with it. But a lot of my peers, man, and I get it, and I understand the pressure of what it takes to be successful.
Yeah.
But the ones that's here, that don't go anywhere until they're ready to go, are true to self.
yeah,
Go back to Dawn. She's true to self.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, go back. Like, I look at one of my dear friends, Brittany Anderson. Like, she's one of the top young assistant coaches in the country. Well, you're not that young anymore, Brittany, but nah. But she's one of the top coaches in the country that you don't know about because she's true to self. You have to stay true to self. Don't give up on your moral compass. Don't sacrifice who you are to get what you think you want. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It don't work like that
because we I can say me and you
Yeah.
have all been presented with opportunities to scale up in our
Yeah.
respective professions
Yeah.
if we wanted to, you know what I'm saying, in a way quicker time period. But we understand that comes with consequences, like you said.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to do it the right way, man.
Yeah.
And it'll come. You don't have to step on anyone. You don't have to like tear anyone down behind their back.
For sure.
So it goes back to condition. That's something I practice. Like,
Yeah.
I love what social media presents, so I just try to present it from the positive side.
For sure.
So whenever I have a chance to big up somebody else on social media, you're
sure.
gonna get it. Because if we have a problem, me and you're gonna talk.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Me and I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna hey, let's talk face to face because I don't believe in all that crazy stuff. But we just go from there, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
This is my last question.
Go ahead.
What's the tension between, because you just talked about it, if someone publicly maligns your name, your legacy, your family, what's the tension you hold between reaching out to them personally or because it's a public attack, responding in a public way? And have you had dealings in that nature or that fashion?
Well, I mean, some people. I've seen some people kind of come at me publicly.
Yeah.
But I ignore probably 99% of it.
For sure.
because 99% of the cats I don't really know.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like, that's like me walking down the street and I was like, oh man, I can't stand his shoes. Okay, we keep it moving. But the people that I know, the people that I've had conversations with, the people that I've spoke with, I call them.
Yeah.
Or I meet with them personally because like I told you before, I'm a talk to her, not about her.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about you. I want to talk to you.
For sure.
Because 9 times out of 10, it's never as serious as you think. And if you really just sit down and talk, you can hash it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get to a common ground and just treat folks like you want to be treated.
Is it like more times than not a misunderstanding of maybe your intent on something or?
A lot of times, because like if in this profession, when you're competing, things can get intense.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's why you talk beforehand, you talk afterwards. Like I told the coach from Grayson last night, and I'm a coach, I'm gonna text you, I gotta get your name and number so I can save your number. I just want him to know, you're doing an unbelievable job.
Yeah.
And the pressures that you are under as a coach. You got Dominique Wilkins' son on your team. You got a guard going to Purdue, one of the top players in the country. You got one of the top posts in the country. You were 22 in the country, and it's almost like the expectations are you better not lose. And he handles it with such grace.
For sure.
He handles it with such class, and I really respect that about him, man. So he did a great job, and that's why I felt the game turned out the way it did. It was such a great game for the fans in the community.
Yeah, and you alluding to the pressures that he's under. You're at the high school level now. You're at Ridgeview now. We're in the middle of the season, so if you don't want to answer this, it's perfectly fine.
Okay.
But would you ever go to the next level? College, professional? Is that ever an ambition?
Absolutely. If the opportunity presents itself, it's
Yeah.
going to put me and my family in a better situation.
For sure.
Everyone should always be working to elevate, because when you're elevating the people around you also. So if I want to be a next level coach, I have to coach like that right now. So guess what the players that I'm with, they're going to elevate. So Corey Corbett goes from a 6'2" athlete that's playing around the basket to right now a 6'4" tweener, a 6'4" hybrid that can play any position. He can bring it up. If you're small, I can post you up. If you're bigger, I'm gonna blow by you. If you got great D, I'm gonna pull up in your face. But again, like a lot of people, social media gets you to see the end result. So by me, every day, people don't know this story. No, I ain't gonna tell that story. We'll say that one, Corey.
Okay.
We'll say that one.
Okay.
But just like that. Just like that. Like you, everything you do, you should be trying to elevate.
Yeah.
And if you want to go to the next level, if you're climbing, you should be lifting.
Yeah.
Not stepping on people's shoulders unless they're lifting you up so you could pull them up also. Just lift as you climb. That's the goal.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
I think you help people who may see the elevation as, oh, this is selfish ambition. It's only for your own legacy. But the thing that I've had to remind myself, even on the financial aspect of needing to make more money, and not it being a greedy desire, is the more resources that I have, the more people I can help.
The more you can help.
You know what I'm saying? The better position you're in, the more people you can help. You know what I'm saying? So I think you alluding to the point of, bruh, me going to the next level is going to elevate those around me, not just my family. But when you go to the next level, boom, everybody in this arena that you have connections with, they'll have a credible source at the next level. They'll be able to get insight of what a Division I coach is gonna get. You know what I'm saying?
And that's how you help. Once you get over the separation, like the loss of, oh man, I'm losing them. But you're not losing me. You're just gaining me from another perspective.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying?
But hold up now. Some individuals, when they leave, they don't look back. So I
that's a totally different argument. Like
That's the fear of some people.
Yeah, but that's the fear. But I don't believe the real ones don't do that.
Yeah.
The real ones don't do that. And the real ones, so like when it's time for Wayne to take the next step, I'm going to have to push you, boy, go do it.
Yeah.
I know you uncomfortable.
For sure.
But brother, you got to go do it. I know that's scary. I know it's scary.
For sure.
But growth only comes from discomfort.
For sure.
It only comes from that. And you gotta go do it. So you surround yourself with people that are okay with pushing you. And like I said, they're gonna be hurt. They're gonna be hurt when things change, but when they know the love is real, they get over the hurt. And let's all get to this next phase.
And that's where I'm at right now, man.
Yeah.
Like not leaving the basketball content creation realm, but like making sure that this next phase of a more important, more intrusive environment where I can have my hands on them the way I need to, be able to say the things I need to say to them through public speaking, you know what I'm saying, through mentorship and workshops, is like where I'm going next. And what I see you do, man, you know, you will continue to coach. You will continue to do incredible
Right.
things.
No, I'm with you.
But yeah, that
Same.
book, we need that book.
Yes, sir.
We need those courses.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? We need the mind of Joshua Staley. We need the podcast. We need all of that to be consistently put out, man. And, you know, maybe a team is needed to, you know, mold around you so that you can efficiently do those things.
No, I'm with you.
as well.
I'm with you. Same with you, man. Keep pushing forward.
For sure.
If nobody else got your back, you know I do. Keep
And to
moving
share the
forward,
story,
baby.
Coach Staley was the first coach to open up his basketball home to allow me to come present and speak to his players.
Yeah.
And I think the generosity, the love, just how you've even invited me over to your home. I've been to your home.
Right, absolutely.
You know
You
what I'm
did.
saying?
You did.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
did.
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
Met
You
the
did.
family, met all the kids. Like, man, it's been incredible. So, man, thank you for being a solid, you know what I'm saying, mentor to me.
Absolutely.
You know, an incredible friend.
Ditto.
Person
Ditto.
that I can watch from afar, hear all the noise about. Because that's why I was like, after you went Chick-fil-A, I just heard, before the season, I heard so much noise about,
Right.
yeah, he's a disciplinarian, but the X's and O's, he's not that guy.
Right, right.
You know, and hearing that over and over again from different individuals was just like, huh? Like, y'all sure? Like, for real? Like,
Yeah.
it makes you start to think, like, hold up, like,
Yeah.
does he not know the game? Like, you know, like, because
Yeah.
the noise just got so loud, man, that I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, man. But then I went back to some of the clips that I recorded of you actually breaking down stuff in the huddle.
Mm-hmm,
I remember those halftime and after the game talks. I
Yeah.
remember, you know what I'm saying, being around
Yeah.
the team. I'm like, okay, that's not true.
Yeah.
But it was still said.
it's that, but that's what they do. That's what the doubters do.
Hold on.
And yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop.
It was getting dark. I was looking at the
Yeah,
screen.
them lights.
Yeah.
That's good for the light bill though when the lights cut off automatically. But that's what the doubters do, right? So my thing is this: like sometimes, you know, my coaches, one specifically is getting on me. He was like, "Yo, you got to stop being so humble." He was like, "Yo, forget all that." You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But like that's what the haters and that's what the doubters do. So if I
Can't
would,
stop being humble though.
so if I wanted to address them, so like them people that do all that talk, start from the day I coached, and you can measure me up with the Oak Hills, the Prolific Preps, whoever you want, how many kids, how many schools got more kids in school and pro than me right now? And if that's not X's and O's, you gotta know the game to go to the next level.
Talk your talk.
So it's like,
Come on.
and then you wanna talk for I've been a coach, I've been blessed to be a head coach for this year right here. What's this, 2023?
Yeah.
This is year 21.
Come on.
For me as a head coach.
Come on.
I've been coaching 25 plus years.
This ain't a fluke.
So 21, year one I didn't make it. From year 2 to 21, I've never missed the playoffs.
Come on.
I never missed the playoffs.
Come on.
So like a lot of people talk.
Come on.
And here's the biggest one for the haters. My players come back home. So like when it's time to come home from college, Patrick Ariel hit me the other day, "Coach, when we can get in the gym." DJ Sinkler, "Coach, you working out today?" Oh yeah, and for the real haters, sometimes your players call me first before they even come to the gym to work out with you. So it's like, if I really wanted to like take that path and just like swag out, the numbers really don't compare. But I'm not that type of guy. Like I'm an uplifter. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm an uplifter. Like if you would see how many text messages I get when it's time to help somebody else's kid. But if we want to just talk about basketball, how? Because at the end of the day, if it was fake, eventually it will fall off.
Yeah.
It would fall off. I don't know. Like the Chick-fil-A was big, but this ain't nothing new. We've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
So like, and youngins be like, "Oh, but he lost all them state championships." How many you been to? I lost my first 5, so I probably lost more than most cats have even been to. So, but guess what? That makes, and I'm good on that. I'm heavy on character.
Yeah.
So if I lost 5, it takes me to lose 5 more for God's plan to get me where we need to be. Guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna keep working.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But understand, I don't throw rocks and hide my hand. If I got something to say to you, I say to you. But if you really know basketball and you could take me out of the equation, if this was somebody else doing what I was doing, I would never, because you sound reckless. You have no idea about the sport.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about. That's like me saying, Gino done fell off. Gino don't know what he doing.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
This man won all these national championships. I watch people say, I've watched and heard conversations, well, Staley don't know X's and O's. What? You ever seen her defense? You ever seen how our kids defend? You ever see, like, are you watching right now? So it's just like people are always going to talk, and that's why I always take the ignore route, the high road, because I don't really want to be in the combative, like, I don't feel like I got nothing to prove to anybody.
For sure.
Other than the people I'm serving. The people I'm serving, the people I'm working for, the God that I'm fighting for and serving every day, that's who I'm here to prove it to.
Yeah.
And we keep it moving.
And with that, I think he rested his case. Man, it was an honor and a privilege to talk to you. I think if y'all really knew what I was thinking right now, we might not be able to continue this show.
Yeah, we good. We good.
But I'm so excited for what you're doing, for the statement that you're making, for the kids you're helping, for the greatness that you're living out. And man, it's not the basketball success that I truly care about.
Yes,
it's
sir.
the man that I know. It's the husband that I know. It's the father that I know. It's the man in the community that I know. And that's why I wanted to do this. And I wanted to do it at this time so that people would really pay attention and listen. Because you've always been next level. You've always been that guy. You know what I'm saying? After going through those trials, of course. But I'm proud of you, man. Keep pushing.
Same.
And we will hey, yo, if you want this part 2, after they win the state championship game, you know what I'm saying? He said, after they win the state championship game, we can have that conversation again. And maybe get some of the players on here as well, man. But
That'll be dope.
I appreciate you. Any last words, anything you want to say to the fans, the people that love you and support you?
I love you back, man. I'm gonna support you back. Let's keep working to help these babies make it, man. All right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, baby.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I felt this one deep in my soul, deep beneath the surface, serpent peeking through some holes. Shot me with a gram of dopamine to make me slow. What type you ask? I fell a victim.